Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Chase here at Rocky Mountain. Thank you so much for checking in. Today we're talking all about heated grips. We're going to show you what types of heated grips we have available, and we're going to talk about the pros and cons of each. So whether you have a street bike, a dual sport adventure bike, a dirt bike, or even an ATV, well, we're going to talk about all these up here and help you decide which option is going to be best for you and what's available for the bike or ATV or whatever it is that you do have. Now, as we go through and we talk about these, if you have questions or comments about any of these, we would love to get those answered, so make sure, leave those in the comments section below. If you've been following us now for a while on our YouTube channel, then you've probably seen a lot of the adventure rides that we go on. Now, when we get our adventure bikes here at Rocky Mountain, whether it's a Honda CRF 300L, KTM 690, doesn't matter. The first thing that we do is we always put heated grips on there because in cold weather conditions, having a good set of cold weather gloves, and then also a heated grip makes a huge difference. And I'm gonna tell you now, there's not a lot of things worse than having frozen hands on any type of ride. So get some heated grips on your machine. And then I would say if you haven't yet, go invest in just a good cold weather glove. Something like this is the MSR cold weather glove that is a full gauntlet. It's got insulation, it's waterproof. Something that's waterproof, windproof with insulation in cold weather is gonna do you a ton of good. So go and do that if you haven't already. That being said, let's just talk about the different options that are up here and the pros and cons of each of them. So first up is this grip heater kit. So this is from Tusk. What's nice about the grip heater kit is that it's universal. So you can use it for a street bike, dual sport adventure bike, for a dirt bike if you want to, for snowmobiles. It's gonna fit pretty much everything. And you just need to have a power source to run this too. You have two different heat settings, a high and a low. Very inexpensive. You're just over, I believe, 20 bucks for this grip heater kit. Now, a couple things to note with this is one, the install process compared to the other options up here is a little bit more tedious. It's not the end of the world. Anyone can do it. We have a how-to video that showed you step-by-step how to do it. So it's a little bit more tedious, but like I said, not a big deal because the way these install is you actually take these heating elements and their adhesive back, you take the clear piece off the back and it wraps around your handlebar. So one side's gonna wrap around your throttle tube, the other side on the left side is gonna just wrap around the handlebar, and then you would slide your grips over the top. Now the downside to that is that what we have found and noticed is that the left side of your handlebar without the throttle tube isn't going to get as warm as the right side. And the reason for that is that the throttle tube is actually gonna help insulate and not lose any of that heat from the element getting to your hand. As with the left side, that aluminum handlebar does take some of that heat away, so you're not gonna get as much heat out of the left side. But overall, this is the setup that we use on just about all our adventure bikes. It works really well. And like I said, when you couple this with the cold weather glove, it does a great job. So again, inexpensive, universal fitment. Watch a how-to video, you can get these installed. Now moving on from there, now we're working into just molded heated grips. And there's actually more options for a molded heated grip than you might think. So the first one we have, this is the Koso dirt bike and snow bike heated grip kit. And so with these, meant to work for dirt bikes. Now one thing with this I do want to point out though is that you do want to make sure that your dirt bike does have a battery to get this wired up. But the way it works is pretty simple. If you've ever ran a set of lock-on grips, say ODI lock-on grips, so the non-throttle side is going to work the exact same where you're going to have this clamp on the end. So you're just going to slide it on, tighten down the screw, and that's going to hold that grip in place. I run lock-on grips, I always have. They're my favorite. And then the other side is just going to be your throttle tube, and so the grip is molded right to the plastic. And then you'll notice that you're going to have a lot of cams that will come included. So depending on what bike you have, there's going to be a sheet that will come in the box that has a chart that will tell you, hey, if you have this bike or this manufacturer, this is the cam that you're going to want. But install process, very simple. Now, nice thing about these two is that there's 5 different heat settings versus just 2 with the grip heater kit. And another thing that I did is before we filmed this, I went through and actually measured the diameter of all of these molded grips just to see if there was any big difference between them. And I was happy and surprised to see that with the Koso, these things are a nightmare to keep standing up, by the way. With these grips, they're just over 30 millimeters in diameter, which is pretty dang comparable to any motocross style grip. So you don't need to worry about these feeling really fat in your hand, especially if you do have smaller hands. Last thing I will say with the Koso, price point, you do jump up quite a bit, about 150 bucks. But again, we talked about the pros and why you'd want to invest in a set of these. Now here next is the BikeMaster Universal Molded Heated Grips. So what's unique about these is that you're not going to have all these different cams that will come included. when you go to put these on. Instead, your throttle side is actually designed to slide right over your throttle tube. And then the non-throttle side is going to slide right over your handlebar. So easy to install. What's nice too is the price on these, you're right around 50 bucks, so quite a bit cheaper than the Koso. However, here's a couple things I noticed. So you still get 5 heat settings with these, which is great. But here's a couple things to be aware of. When you install these, you don't, on the non-throttle side, you're not going to have that clamp to tighten it down. So they will include a bottle of glue. So you actually do glue these molded grips onto your bike. So the throttle side just slides over your throttle tube. You're gonna put glue inside there. My only concern with that is because I've had this happen with just a regular motocross grip before, is I used glue, but I didn't use safety wire to secure everything. And while I was riding, the glue broke loose, and then I just had my grip just sliding around on my handlebar. So that is a concern that I might have with these. Since they are a molded grip, you're not gonna be able to use safety wire as an added, measure to make sure they do stay in place. So they glue on. And the other thing that I noticed too is that when I measured these, they are thick. They're about 4 millimeters larger in diameter than all the other grips up here. And 4 millimeters might not sound like a lot, but trust me, if you were to hold these in your hand and then any of these other grips, you will notice a pretty drastic difference. And so for me, for riders that maybe don't have really large hands, a grip like this, if you're standing up and working hard on the bike, might wear on you a little bit, might cause you to get arm pump a little bit faster. So just a couple things to keep in mind. But again, it's universal fitment. They're inexpensive. Just got to be mindful of the couple things that I did talk about. Now, next up, you've got molded heated grips from direct manufacturers. So up here, I've got a set from Honda and I got a set from KTM. So these are going to be bike specific. So to know if there is a bike specific heated grip from your manufacturer, the easiest way to know that is to go to our website and enter the year, make, and model on the home page. And then when you do that, it will show you every single part that is designed to fit your motorcycle or ATV, including heated molded grips. So that's an easy way to find out. But what's nice about grips from a manufacturer is the install process, because a lot of bikes like these grips for a KTM or these for a Honda is they're direct plug and play. So say an Africa Twin or a KTM 1090, 1190, whatever it is, they come from the manufacturer already wired up for these grips. And so you put them on and then it's just simply connecting the wires, the connectors, and you're good to go. So it's the easiest install process. They are more expensive, so that is one thing that you are gonna pay for. So if you can fork over the cash, I think these are one of the best routes to take just because the install process is super easy. You're gonna have multiple heat settings with these. But what's nice too is that for a lot of bikes is that when you plug these in, if your bike has a dash, so for like KTMs and Hondas, a lot of times you'll actually see, instead of having to have a controller like these other two that will go on your handlebar, instead you can actually just use your controls on your dash to actually run the heated grip. So they look really good when they're mounted up. They look like they came right from the manufacturer. It's gonna be the easiest to install. You get that cool functionality with your dash, but they are gonna be the most expensive option. But aside from that, that's really it. Those are the different types of heated grips and those are the different options. So like I said, if you have questions or comments, we would love to get those answered. So make sure to leave those in the comment section below. To grab a set today, click on the link or just head to RockyMountainATVMC.com. As always, we ship for free over 75 bucks. If you like this video, well, do yourself a favor. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and that way you're always going to stay up to date on the latest and greatest from Rocky Mountain. I'm Chase, and we'll see you on the trails.